freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 479 of Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We are brought to you by azfirearmsauctions.com, where you set the price on guns, ammo, and accessories. I am one of your hosts, Cheryl Todd.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd. Our theme today is serving up joy. And I'm telling you today, there's a lot of joy because we have Reverend Kenn Blanchard. And Kenn was the first person that we ever interviewed starting Gun Freedom Radio. And it seems like yesterday, but it also seems like years ago. But anyway, I'm really excited to have Kenn with us today. He was once known internationally as Black Man with a Gun. Before Google and Facebook existed, he played a monumental role in laying the groundwork for national concealed carry, the Heller decision, and H.R. 218, the Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act. Today, he's a musician and a caregiver for his wife. He has a new book called Finding Joy in the Blues, available on Amazon, and I just started going through it today, and I've got to read it. It's awesome.
I have my own copy. Welcome back to the show, Kenn.
Man, it's so good to see you guys.
It's so good to see you. My stars. Going back 10 years ago, I had just read your book called Black Man with a Gun, and I felt like I was just learning so much that I didn't even know about the whole Second Amendment issue, and that was the whole purpose of our show, is to educate myself, educate our viewers. I reach out to you. You don't know me from anybody, and I'm like, would you please come on this brand new show? And there was no hesitation. I was so honored that you said yes, and I'm still honored. I can't believe that you had that much trust to just give me a chance to put your voice on the air, and that started everything and gave me so much confidence to reach out to other guests. So thank you again for that.
Thank you so much for such a glowing introduction. You guys are just good people, so it's just easy to say yes to you guys. It doesn't matter what.
Well, you're awesome. Thank you for that. So, what a journey your life has been. And I titled the show Serving Up Joy to kind of tie into the title of the book, but also that you've always been in service from your military career to law enforcement to your 2A advocacy, and now serving your wife with her health issues. What is that driving force that causes you to show up in all of these roles?
Just being a servant of the Lord, actually, truthfully. Before I even knew it, that was it. Even when I was a kid, my first big thing was to be a safety guard, a crossing guard, a Boy Scout. I was always trying to protect somebody. I was trying to follow after my superhero that was prominent on television back then, truth, justice in the American way, and just being a good guy. And that thing never went away.
Well, it's amazing too, because, truth, justice in the American way, that's Superman, of course. And, Clark Kent is his alter ego, which he is a kind of a soft-spoken, mild-mannered guy. And that really is you. Like, just to watch your YouTube videos and listen to the speeches you've made, you're not a fire and brimstone guy. You're a pastor. You're not a fire and brimstone guy, even though you come from the Baptist background, which can tend to be that way, right?
Yes, I get in trouble for that all the time. But now it's funny that when I first started, they were like, your sermons are too short. And then
who has ever complained about that?
I know, but you fast forward to the future, and now when I'm doing it on YouTube, my stuff fits on YouTube space really easy because everybody has short attention span. So it's folks had to change to where I'm at. I was just ahead before.
Well, Ken, we've known you quite a while, and you've had some pretty big obstacles in your life. But every time that I see you, you are stronger, and you're just going out there and like writing a book and playing the blues and just having a good time. But you really are stronger. You look great.
Man, I'm barely hanging on. It's a fake look.
It's a good, your lighting is good and your angle is good. So that's
But that barely hanging on, aren't we all? Just barely hanging on.
Yeah, this last piece with the missus crushed me. I thought being shot at by terrorists and missed by bombs and fighting for the Second Amendment and having like preachers turn on you and having your face plastered on the screen and losing promotion in the government and just getting abused by people and having like government people think that you're an internal agent, of the worst kind. Getting through all of that, getting my kids through college, trying to be a good husband, good father. And then, all right, retirement's coming. I can like kick back. No. When my wife got sick, I got hit with a whole different thing and I wasn't ready for it. It's been the biggest challenge of my life to date.
Yeah. I can't even imagine reading just the first little bit of your book. You kind of start going into it. And one of the things that impacted me is that, you realize that you need friends in your life, and friends are great, but they are not equipped to come alongside for this long haul. And it's a long haul for you.
That hurt me. This is my fourth year in May of doing this. And it was okay for the first month. I had church, I had pastor friends, I had family, relatives, cousins. Everybody wanted to bring over a plate of food, a lasagna. After that second month, they didn't know what to do. And it got worse until I actually saw my limit. I saw where I thought being shot at was tough. Changing an adult diaper, somebody that you care for, is a lot tougher. And I had these old guitars sitting in my house that I've been dragging around for 40 years. And I thought, well, it's COVID. Let me play with them. And then I learned that was part of my therapy. I was able to like forget of all the stuff that I was sad about because I hit depression head on. I didn't even, it was more than a word for me. And I couldn't get out of it. But I thought the music is cool and all, but I had no idea how well it worked for me. I was able to do the tactile thing with the strings, looking on YouTube, following people. It's like 1 million instructors on there. Everybody's teaching something different. And things that I've been pulling around for years, because I had all the Mel Bay books. I had the cassette tapes, the DVDs, the VCRs. I had all that junk in my house. And nothing stuck. But now it was the right time for it. And I started like connecting with it. And I thought about all the musicians that I've seen in my past, I've heard in my past. I got excited about something at 60 plus years old that was kind of funny. I mean, I didn't know Led Zeppelin played blues. I didn't know there were so many musicians, Rolling Stones are like now my favorite. There's so many musicians that play music that I can groove to that I heard them all my life, but it didn't register to now. So now I have a new thing. And what was really funny was when I was podcasting, and I did that forever and a day. And my wife would holler downstairs, "What are you doing in there talking to yourself?" This is like 2007 before anybody knew what that stuff was. I had to explain it. And then she was like, "Are you doing any good with that podcast?" And I had to explain over and over again. I'm reaching a new audience. I'm helping people. I'm making them laugh, if nothing else. And she was like, "Yeah, okay, sure." She was my worst critic, right? But I'm down in the basement now, same studio, and I'm playing music, and she'll text me and she'll say, "Turn that up."
Oh,
Nice.
And I thought, this is the first time I've ever got some kudos, man, from my hardest critic.
That's fantastic. Oh.
So that's when the music came, and it's just getting better. So then after, I guess a year and a half ago, I decided I need goals. You got to have a goal to get through anything. I can't just stay here in the basement and play. So I played for church during COVID, and that kept going. So every Sunday, I got a gig every Sunday. I'm playing with the choir, and that helped me get better. And then I got the next goal was I wanted to perform, and I've always wanted to sing, but I've never been trained, and I didn't know my range or any of that stuff. So it's all been trial and error, and I'm just using YouTube as a test tube. And when people can't throw rocks at the YouTube screen, so I'm safe. And I try everything. So I've learned my range, and I'm progressing, and I can chart it, and it's giving me joy. And I had to write about it because I know there's some people. I'm never the first to do anything, even though it feels like it sometimes. But there's somebody that's suffering that thinks that there's no way out. I'm here to tell you that there's like plenty of different ways to get out of it, but this one right here works for me. And if you can find joy in the saddest part of your life, you can make it. So that's kind of what it is.
That is just amazing. And when you talked about, using your hands as part of the process, my brother-in-law is a veteran, a war veteran, and he deals with his issues with quilting. So he has become a quilter, and he says that that connection of working with your hands and doing something creative, there's a heart connection, a spiritual connection, a head connection. And so that makes so perfect sense to me that, having to focus as hard as you do to learn this new skill, to play the guitar, I, I think that really follows.
It transitioned perfectly from the gun. To be a really good marksman, you have to be able to block out distractions and focus on the front side and learn your firearm. This music thing is just like that. And then as soon as you get one level, there's like 100 levels ahead of you. So you never get like as expert as you want. So the challenge is always there. So it's kind of cool and scary at the same time because some little 13-year-old pops up and they're like wailing like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Kind of bums you out for a minute, but you're like, oh, go ahead, little kid, do your thing.
Yeah, but could they shoot like you? Could they advocate like you? Right?
Right.
Also, I mean, so you choose blues to play mostly, and then you choose to write a book. What, I mean, were you always around blues when you were younger, or?
Blues was like a happier time, which I didn't even realize. Every Friday night, my father was blue collar guy, and Friday nights was the night you got to just let your hair down and go wild. And one of his rituals, after he came home, took a shower, he went downstairs to his little bar he had down there, and friends were coming over like within a couple of hours after he did. And he put on these same records every Friday night, and they were like the song of happiness. I don't know what he went through the week, but I can remember my father laughing, and then his friends would come over and they're laughing, and his music is playing in the background. And when I left home to go to the Marines and travel around the world, I would buy those same pieces of music to remind me of home. And I didn't even really connect what the song was about or anything, but I knew this was the soundtrack of happiness. And it's supposed to be sad, but it was funny and it was good times. So even though you're talking about throwing mama from a train, or this is the day my baby left me, and people are still laughing, I thought this is okay.
That is awesome. Well, I have to tell a personal story that just happened. Apparently, there's somebody in the blues world that apparently I was supposed to know who this person
You're
was.
grounded for not knowing.
And I'm embarrassed to say I didn't, but my husband almost voted me. I mean, we just celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary, and that was almost
Woohoo!
it. Thank you. But that was almost it for him. He's like,
We'll see about 41 when you find out about her music.
so apparently there is a man named
Buddy Guy.
Buddy Guy,
who Kenn has met.
who's huge in the blues world, and Kenn has met. Tell us a little bit about that and get me off the hot seat.
All right. Right now, there's a movie called Sinners, and Buddy Guy plays a part in the movie. Buddy Guy was the first real blues artist that I ever met. And back when I first got married, and I thought, if I ever learn how to play the guitar, I want to play the blues. And this was like in 1990 maybe. And we went to this really small blues club in DC, and I dragged my mother and my new wife to this show. And the place was so small, we were in front of his microphone. That's how close the seats were.
Wow.
And we were waiting and waiting and waiting, and he never showed up. So, you know how you drink beer, you got to go find the men's room. So I went upstairs, and there was a small room next to the restroom, and he was in there having an interview with somebody. And I heard his voice, so I stuck my head in the curtain, and he says, "Ain't that right, young blood?" And I was like, yeah. And the next thing I know, I'm in a conversation with Buddy Guy, and we're talking for a good half hour about the blues, about music, about culture and people. And I was sold. I was like on blues heaven after that. I had learned, I couldn't even play a lick yet, but I was going to learn everything I knew about blues after this one show. So I get back to my seat. My mother was looking at me like, "Where did you go?" My wife was like, "Who did you meet?" And I thought, I was talking to Buddy. I was all happy. And she was like, "Yeah, right." So then the music starts, and he's playing the guitar from upstairs. He has this really, really long cord. This is before wireless. And he comes down the stairs. He's playing. The crowd goes crazy. And he gets right in front of us. And he goes, "I apologize for being late, but I had the best conversation with this young brother." And he motivated me. And I thought, my wife looked at me like, "There you go again, doing
I
that thing
love
you
it.
do." And
I
from that
love
point
it.
on, I was a Buddy Guy fan for life.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I am embarrassed that I'm just learning about this man. He's still with us. He's in this movie. Tell us about that.
He lives in Chicago. He was supposed to retire last year, but he didn't. He's like 89 years old, and he has a club called Legends in Chicago. He's the guy. He was a wild guy in his youth, and somebody by the name of Jimi Hendrix actually copied some of his stuff from this guy.
Now that one I've heard of.
Yep.
That
And
musician I've heard of.
yeah. And he's played with Buddy. He's played with BB King. He's played with Muddy Waters. He's played with a lot of he's like the bridge between the old and the new. And he's an encourager. So he always like brings up younger people that nobody would ever learn about and give them the floor. And he's been like the ambassador for the blues after BB King passed away. And the director of this last movie uses him brilliantly in this movie. And my son was with me, and I think I almost stood up because I don't have I barely show emotion most of the time, but this time when he showed up, I was like, "Yes, my man."
Oh man, that's
So it
amazing.
was kind of cool.
Well, to hear the impact that he had on your life, that's truly how I felt, as I said at the beginning of the show, when I'm reaching out to you. You are the shoulders on which, in the Second Amendment advocacy world, the shoulders on which so many of us stand, myself very much included in that. And for you to invest in me and invest in the work that we do by just saying yes and having the conversation, it has sparked a million other conversations. And so you are the perfect protege to your friend, Mr. Guy. So I think that's
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So when you were talking about that you're on YouTube and I mean, you just put yourself right out there, and I love that. You're just, you know, you're learning as you go. I think that encourages the rest of us. I think everything we've ever done in our marriage has been on the job training. We're entrepreneurs. We open businesses. We figure it out as we go, right? This whole radio podcast thing, I figured it out as I go. Um, but you sang, I think you just posted it, but the song Masquerade. And
Yes.
I'm like, so I do sing. I don't tell people that very often, but I'm like, maybe it's a bucket list for me. Maybe I sing while you play masquerade, and that's a bucket list item for me. I'm just throwing it
Ooh,
out there.
nice.
We'll see how that could ever happen, but I would have a blast doing that.
She's
I'm looking.
pretty.
I'm looking for the tie back around when I can do music at a Second Amendment function. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yes. I love that idea. My brain was already working on that. Like, what connections can I make to make that happen?
Yeah, because she's pretty good.
I'm all
I
right.
know.
She's pretty good,
I'm
and
I'm a church singer. I'm all right.
yeah.
But it's fun. All right, moving along.
But
Part
wait, no, I have to say something
Yes.
too. So, like Buddy Guy, he helps other people. You do that too,
Yes.
and we do that. She does it mostly, but you know, you start a business and you think, okay, I need the money. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make a successful business. But then, as you get successful and things are going well, you start thinking, what can I do for that person?
Hmm.
And that's a really good thing. And I
Hmm.
sometimes I give myself chills because in the estate business that I'm in, there's a lot of people that need help.
Hmm.
They don't know what to do. There's a
With our
loss in the
auction.
family. There's, something. And and it's a completely different thing than it was 20 years ago. It's like I really truly believe that I was put on this earth to help that person.
Hmm.
And we learn that from experiences with you, hearing the
Hmm.
stories about Buddy Guy,
Hmm.
seeing what she does. So bless you guys. That's
Well, thank you,
awesome.
man. So
Absolutely.
somewhere way back when, I learned that a candle doesn't lose any light by helping another light.
Right.
So
That's very
Exactly. I
good.
love that. So when I came into this whole world of, trying to figure out a radio show, and the purpose for it was to educate myself and others, I d- I guess I was naive about some things, and your book, Black Man with a Gun, made me aware that, just even the reason you named it that was because there was some negative connotation about a black man with a gun. And you were like, I'm going to appropriate that. I'm going to use that. And um, it's just amazing to me the stuff that I didn't compute to me, and I had no idea about, but to learn it from your eyes and your experience, and I've never seen you use it as a victim-minded thing. You've just always come at it from a power position. Here's how I can use it, and here's how I can change these laws that need changed. Um, that was that always comes back and surprises me over and over again, how, I guess, idealistic I can be. I'm just like, why would it be any different than a white man with a gun? Duh.
the whole thing of race is amazing to me. When I was in the Marines back in the '80s, there was a lot of race issues,
Mm,
and I walked into it not knowing there was a race issue,
mm,
and because I was so oblivious to it, I got thrown to the wolves. As a
mm,
matter of fact, to as an experiment almost,
mhm,
and I learned from my to make a long story short, I got moved from an all black room of four black guys, to a room with a guy from Kansas who was a rodeo guy who told me there's only one colored person in his whole county, to the other guy who his father was a Klans member, and then the
Oh,
other member was a Native American who had no black people. He ever never seen them before the Marine Corps. So those were my new roommates, and I
mm,
learned the whole issue of racism and how it's learned and how it's perpetuated and how
mhm,
it can be overcome, if you don't like feed into it. So it took us a good 6 months, of actually fighting physically, um, and, and,
mhm.
and and learning each other's strengths and weaknesses. Um, but it changed my whole life as a matter of dealing with people and not blaming folks. Um, so unless you're coming at me with a firearm, we can probably talk.
Mhm.
well, kid, it's funny because when I was my family probably, well, no, they had racist tones to them when I was a kid, and we lived in an area that was mostly minorities, and the in school, in grade school, there was a black boy and me in the same class, And me not being educated, we had our battles. And him and I would fight constantly because he was racist too, against white. So we were both equally wrong. But anyway, one day the preacher, the the
Principal.
principal of the school said, "You guys are going to stay in this room until you figure out how to live with each other." We became best friends. We became best friends. I quit listening to my grandparents and my mom and dad, and I think the key to racism, to stop it, is for our parents to not show it, and for our parents to teach our kids that what difference does it make? Like, there's no issues with my grandkids. They live with us. There is never a race issue. It's, you are a human being. Everybody's good. There's some bad people out there, but anyway, it was amazing because I saw it, when I was in school, and it's it's just strange to me that why we have such a problem with it.
And it's resurged.
Yeah.
It feels like.
It researched a different way though. It's,
Yeah.
it's
But
not.
it's only the cool people can realize it. Some people don't even know it changed.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, We Are the World, right? I
Yes.
graduated high school in 80 something. And, it really felt like it was really becoming the non-issue that it should
No,
be, right? Ebony
no,
and Ivory, like the whole
no,
thing.
no.
And, here we are back now where it's, people are purposely pitting each other, purposely creating division. And I think that it's just incumbent on us to do what we can in our personal lives to mute that, quiet that, show it out for the lie that it is. What do you think about that?
That was the whole reason that Black Man with a Gun was invented. When I first got started in firearms, I did not know there was a separation or a segregation of firearms. I didn't know that there were hundreds of Black people who shot, but they didn't shoot in white clubs, that it was segregated. And my job was to change that dynamic. And then I didn't know that it was esteemed so much. I thought, shooting, what's the big deal? I didn't know that I could have gone to the Olympics or done something. So I had to change the perceptions, and I had to change my whole dynamic. I went into the whole thing to make money. I was going to be like Joe Bob, the very best firearms guy in the neighborhood. I didn't know my neighborhood didn't want a firearms instructor. They had the wrong mindset for the whole firearms thing. So I had to drop all the business thing and become an activist. And then the activism became a ministry. And then that just grew nationally. And then it got international, and I got scared because some crazy stuff happened where there were nations that would call me and they say, well, we'll pay for you to come here to train our people. And I thought, no, that's when the FBI comes and they come cart me away. No, not doing
Smart.
that.
I was a smart man with a gun right there.
I was like, good Lord, this thing just got crazy for a hot second. And then we hit a thing where it was actually working. And like you said, we are the world. There was some stuff that happened and things started happening. The walls were coming down, and then we got stupid again. Social media popped up. There were a whole bunch of people who didn't even know I existed, and they were having a good time off of the things that you and I have already, we've accomplished, we've happened, and they didn't even know there was a Second Amendment Foundation or a 2A org. They didn't know any of that stuff. They just thought they were creating it for the first time. And I thought, all right, this is a good time for the mountain man to go back up in the woods. I'm done. My work is done here. Like Bart from Blazing Saddles.
Look it. Yeah, and that is wild. And I get excited to see new people, coming into this space, younger people coming into this space. But there is something to be said for, I guess every generation thinks that they've invented everything, that they're the first one to have this unique thought. But and I never feel it for myself because I know I learned from you and all the people who came before me, but I feel it for you that, uh, don't ignore the people who have already paved the road you are driving so gleefully on, right?
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
But going back to that, that division, it's race, it's class, it's religion, it's political ideologies, anything people can do to put us in our little square boxes that I won't stay in, right? I'm gonna bust myself right out of those boxes.
Exactly.
Um, but you, through this journey of the blues and then writing this book, you found I don't definitely a very close friend. I don't know if your soulmates. I don't know what level it is, but you're a Baptist preacher, a reverend, and this guy's a rabbi, right? And especially right now where Jewish people are going through another really rough moment. I don't know what that's about nationwide. But for the two of you to just come together at a time when you needed a connection like that, what was that common thread that became that bond?
Gotta say it was Jehovah. This rabbi was probably my third rabbi buddy. The very first one was the guy who began Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership, Aaron Zellman. We used to have conversations before the internet was even a thing, and he was trying to coax me to be more Malcolm X, more radical, and it was a funny conversation because he was an in-your-face kind of guy. And I'm like, I can't be like you, man. That's not my style. And then the next rabbi that kind of popped into my life was a guy by the name of David out of New Jersey. And Rabbi David was, he started gun advocacy in New Jersey and New York. And this last guy, my friend, Rabbi, I always mess up his name, Gublat, or Israeli Gublat. He's a musician and a motorcyclist and a teacher. And I was doing a podcast on Indian motorcycles, and he had just recently bought his first motorcycle and wanted to talk. So we had like this equal ground of God, motorcycles, and music. And it was during COVID when everybody was on Zoom somewhere. Nobody was really talking to anybody. And I had the best conversations with this guy. We're learning about, I'm learning about the Talmud. I'm learning about parts of the culture I had never even heard of before. And we were just open and going for it and having a blast. It got me again through a good time because I was sad. My wife was in the hospital back then. It was a couple of turns in her being in the hospital, and she was on hospice at one point, and they told me she wasn't coming home. And it was conversation with Rabbi Israel that changed it, because prayer changes things.
Yeah.
And when you got somebody who's feeling you, he's a special needs teacher, so he had a level of compassion that I needed, because I definitely had some special needs. I'm a special case as it is. And Rabbi was having a blast, man. I'm telling these crazy jokes and he's laughing. And then he would say something and he would like, I can't say this in synagogue. And I'm like, let it go. And he's talking and we're laughing like two kids who just found each other. And then I would quote Jesus and he would go, oh man, that's a good quote. Who said that? And I go, Jesus. And he go, oh, you got me there. We had a blast. We had a blast. And I was going to write this book on joy by itself, but then I couldn't find any. I was just so sad. I was so gloomy. The world was ending. I was having fits with the stupidest stuff, y'all. I know I'm going long, but
No, you're good.
Things like sleeping alone in my bed was messing me up. When I leave my wife in the nursing home, she lost the ability to talk for about a year and a half. She was like a stroke victim. She had a brain tumor removed. It wasn't cancerous, but the surgery didn't go well. They just snipping stuff, so things not working for her. So I'm coming home to an empty bed, which ain't no big deal, right? Your bed's empty. But if somebody's supposed to be there, after a while that bed starts to feel funny. So I'm not sleeping, and it's just so much stuff that was just happening. And then once she did come home and I had to learn how to take care of her, that was a whole nother thing. Then fighting aides and nurses and strange people coming to my house because we have to do a check on you, make sure you're not, doing something wrong. How about helping me? Like,
Yeah. How about that?
but because I worked in the government 20 plus years, I made too much money to get any assistance. So all my help I had to pay for out of pocket. And it just spiraled. And the good conversations with Rabbi got me through.
That's amazing. That is just amazing. The people that God weaves into our lives at just the right moment,
Yes.
and then, to be such a myth busting thing, right? Like, well, why would this guy and this guy even be able to get along? Because the world says, right? The world says that we have to be enemies and we have no things in common. And it's like, those things I think make God giggle a little bit.
We were surprised
because he knows better.
Yeah, we have so much in common with everyone. I mean, there's so many things.
Absolutely. So where is Second Amendment advocacy now for you? Is it in the rear view mirror? I mean, I know you said it'd be awesome to play at an event. Of course, you still have connections and friendships and that sort of thing, but where does it land with you now?
Now it's just the occasional review. Somebody might say, "Hey, man, have you seen the new Taurus X? Have you seen the new Smith & Wesson blah? Would you mind reviewing it for your YouTube channel?" Which mine's all music now, but I'll review it. And if anybody even knows who I am, I'll tell them, Kenn, the black man with the gun. And what's funny is that I had a whole personality with that guy. So it's in me. It comes out as soon as I start talking. And I also remember that if you don't shoot a lot, you start to suck. So I go to the range now and they're like, "Test out this new revolver." And I'm barely hitting paper. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what happened to me? I lost my mojo, man. I lost my mojo.
So Kenn, what do you do about the guy that sucks when he shoots all the time and still sucks when he, what about that kind of guy? I need help, brother. Come on.
No, that was my whole thing. I was a marksman's marksman. And I remember when I first needed to get glasses for reading, I was complaining and the doctor was like, "You have 20/20 vision now." And I was like, "No, I used to have 20/10. I'm like a sniper. I need to see the words at the bottom of that paper." And he's like, "You're killing me, man." I was like, I lost the S on my chest. I'm hurting here.
Yeah. Help me.
Well, even that is important for people to realize that, the most skilled among us, we do still have to practice to stay good. And whether it's a guitar or a firearm, right?
Yes.
They're diminishing returns if you aren't out there, exercising those muscles. But I mean, some of it's like riding a bike, but if you really want to be, accurate, sniper level accurate, you better practice, right?
You have to stay on it. Even being a good person takes practice.
Yeah, I like that. So how's your wife now? What can you share with us now?
Okay, now she's home. She's being taken care of an aide while I'm here, and she can talk and text. She's kind of like a stroke person now. Now she just has limited mobility on one side. She still can't walk, but she can give me grief like she used to. And she's pretty much mom again. Just can't go anywhere. So when she gets too snarky, I can just walk out because she can't chase me. That's about
fantastic. Oh my goodness. And what a testament to the strength of your marriage that, this has got to have put everything to the test, that better or worse, richer, poorer, sickness and health thing.
She just reminded me that too, because our anniversary is at the end of this month. It'll be 32 years. And she was like, "Remember them vows?" I go, "Yeah, I didn't know about that last part. That stuff is tough, man."
For reals. But you've helped bring her back so far. That's got to feel good at some level. Exhausting, right? Exhausted.
The doctor, I have to rent a van to get her in a wheelchair because she's in pain like 24/7. She has like this really bad neuropathy because of the nerves are still all jangled. So moving her is heavy and hard to do. So I rent the van, put her in a wheelchair, which causes pain. I get her to not hospital, but her primary care physician. And when I walk in there, he always claps, and he always tells her, "Make sure you recognize this. This is like the best husband I know."
Oh.
And I just kind of put my head down. It's like, I don't feel like it, because I'm all grumbly, because I just, all the mess I just had to do to get you here for a 15-minute appointment.
Yes.
So it's like that.
Oh, well, I applaud you. I pray over you guys all the time, and you are an inspiration to those of us because the caregiver is the unsung hero of every situation like that. And you've got to find your respite. You've got to find your moments to get away and find joy in the blues, right?
Right.
I love that. So I guess in some ways you've already answered this, but I do want to ask it more pointedly. Like you thought you knew what your future was going to be, right? You both were at retirement age. You were coming right up to that. We're going to be able to, live out that wish list of things, and that just took a weird left turn and has stayed left, of where you thought it was going to be. How do you plan for the future? What does that look like now? Is it just in shorter segments than it used to be, or how does that play out?
Now, because I write and journal everything that I'm doing, I figured God has peeped my card, and I'm the crash test dummy for somebody. Um, Somebody is going through a tough time, or they will, and they're going to ask that same question. Um, I used to plan everything. Now I can't plan further than a couple of days.
Mm,
Um, it kind of I had to write this on my wall for myself. I take a dry erase marker and I put it on my mirror in my bedroom, and I put in big letters, "Trust God."
mm,
Um, when you can't make plans for yourself, when you can't, I mean, there's a GRPC, there's the Second Amendment Foundation event happens every year around the same time, but I can't plan for it
mm,
because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So how do I deal with it? One day at a time. Just like anybody that's going through a struggle, if you can make it through the day, count it as a blessing, and do tomorrow. It sucks, but like the SEALs say, embrace the suck.
yeah.
Um, you got to sometimes you can't look at it tomorrow. And I remember when I trained with the SEALs once for a weekend, kicked my butt actually, and you are at the point of exhaustion almost every day with them.
Mm,
And that's kind of like how it is for me now.
mm,
Some new challenge, like when my wife starts to cough, I freak out. So I'm afraid that the pneumonia has come back. She's
mm,
she's gone through pneumonia twice, some blood clots. She had fungal meningitis once, where they said she
mm.
wasn't going to make it, and she's still here. So I have to check myself and not don't hyperventilate, don't get crazy. Um, just hang on, and we're gonna work through whatever happens. That's where I'm at. That's how you can make it, one day at a time.
Absolutely. I think the other thing the SEALs say is the only easy day was yesterday.
Yeah, it's true.
That goes
It's
through my
true.
mind a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not facing half the challenges that you and your wife are, but
Yeah.
God bless you both. Um, well, this has been amazing and such a blessing anytime I get to connect with you. And to have your book. I just started reading it. I still have a long way to go, but I kind of thumbed through and you've put a lot in there. It's very inspiring. Tell folks how they can continue to follow you and buy this book. And I mean, you've written more than just Black Man with a Gun and Finding Joy in the Blues. So how do people connect with all that?
All my misprints and tryings of this thing are on Amazon. This one little book, this is like a good bathroom read. It's not that long, but it has the most congruent thought. I mean, it's you will get me. And I wanted to have something other than a CD or a DVD or a music stream for somebody who was following me in music. And this is kind of like a long letter, an essay of what I'm going through. So if you want to find it, it is on Amazon.com. Finding Joy in the Blues. And if you hear me play anywhere, I usually bring a couple of copies with me. You can find me on YouTube under Rev Kenn Blanchard, and that's Kenn with 2 N's. I still have the blackmanwiththegun@gmail.com email address, but it's not the only way you can find me. But if you just look for Rev Kenn Blanchard anywhere, I'll pop up Instagram and all this stuff.
And when you play locally, where's locally?
I play at nursing homes. I play for birthday parties and small events like that. Veterans things. I had a really big thing happen last August. I got a chance to play for a biker group for 3 days. I drove my truck all the way to Wisconsin from Maryland and pretended like I was like a real road guy. And I played outside on stage and had a blast. So I'm doing it again this year if the wife lets me leave. Yeah, so that's like my new thing. Just I'll go where you call.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I would love to pop up on you somewhere. So I'm going to figure out how to make that happen. That would just
We're
be
gonna sing
so
that
awesome. And sing that thing.
thing. Yeah, you're gonna sing that thing.
We'll see. We got to rehearse first. I don't do anything like karaoke. That is not my thing. But this has been amazing. Thank you so much for all you do and continue to do and inspire everybody. And I'm just going to ask you if you will sign off here with your famous way that you sign off.
Just in case nobody has told you this today, I love you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Until the next time, shalom, baby.
Shalom, baby. God bless. And right back at you. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Thank you, Kenn.
Thank you so much, Kenn.
All right, guy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
One of my all-time favorite people on the planet ever.
Yeah.
Hands down. I
Yeah.
love him so much. All right. That was amazing and inspiring. Stop right now, buy this book. Just do it. And then go buy Black Man with a Gun. That book, it's on the shelf behind me somewhere. Started a lot of what we do right here.
And this is a quick read too, so it's pretty easy.
I always calls it a bathroom read. I love that. But yeah, thank you so much to Reverend Kenn and to his wife. There's got to be such an amazing co-support there. Even though she's in such need, she's I like that she sasses him still. I think that's an important part.
Yeah, we like that. We like that a
You
lot.
love it when I sass you.
Oh, yes, we do.
Just say it. Anyway,
I'm going to write a book called Finding Joy in Being Married. It's going to be 1 page long.
Oh, nice. It'll be one of
Blank
those
pages.
blank books. Yeah, I love that. How have we stayed married 40 years? Tell me again. I'm going to paper cut you.
Because you have some mental issues.
I always say one of us needs an award. Maybe both of us do. All right. Moving on. I want to appreciate the companies that support the work that we do and support our values, our constitutional values. And we have a brand new affiliation with patriotmobile.com. I am so excited and honored to have signed as one of their affiliates. And so when you go there, patriotmobile.com/GFR, if you switch your service to them, use the promo code GFR, and you will get a free month of service. They will help you buy out of your old contract. All of the towers that they use are the same exact towers that the other guys use. The signal strength is the same.
But why would I switch over? I'm very comfortable with that 3-letter word one that I have right now. Why would I want to switch over?
Because they don't support what Patriot Mobile supports and don't support what you support. And, we've got to start supporting the companies and the people that have the same values as we do. We go and we vote to have our voices heard. Why not use a mobile service that helps your voice get heard? See what I just did there, huh?
Yep.
On the other end of the line. And, everybody knows that I am like the selfie queen, right? I'm always out there getting my selfies. Well, my selfies are going to be powered by patriotmobile.com/GFR. Check it out. You will not be sorry you did.
That's a fact, Jack.
Also, along the lines of supporting American jobs on American soil, buying American-made products, Danny and I are going to invite you right now to this invitation-only shopping network, patriothousehold.com/GFR. Are you noticing a theme here? Patriot Mobile, Patriot Household, right? And so whether you're buying your shampoo, your dishwasher detergent, right? Snacks, the most delicious snacks, and steaks and hamburger. Oh, these things are amazing.
They're simply
They're
fit.
Simply Fit. It's called, oh, they are so good. Danny calls them candy, but they're like nuts and fruits and. And also, as I was saying, steaks and hamburger, you order this stuff online, it shows up on your doorstep. It could not be any more simple. So check that out. And when you do, every dollar you spend there helps support the work that we do and the travel that we have with our speaking events and that sort of thing. And also the Second Amendment Foundation. You heard Reverend Kenn Blanchard mention them with the Gun Rights Policy Conference. They do huge lawsuits to protect our rights. And a little portion of every dollar you spend with patriothousehold.com/GFR goes to fuel the work they do.
And you'll see this butt bag is open because we actually eat it. It's good food.
Yeah. In between shows, we're crunching away.
Yes.
And also, being firearms owners, we never want to be in a self-defense situation. But if you are going to want an attorney on retainer. So our family uses attorneys on retainer. Go to our website, scroll down on the homepage, click through there. In the movies, if you have a self-defense incident, the police come, the good guy is obviously identified and walks home in the sunset with his firearm back in its holster. That is not real life. The law will visit itself upon you, and you will need an attorney. So go to Attorneys on Retainer from our homepage and click through there. Again, that will help fuel the work that we do. And finally, our good friends have created this great product, lockedingrip.com, liquid shooting sports chalk for a better, safer, faster grip. As Reverend Kenn was talking about, when you get out on the range and you realize that, your bullseye's not quite bullseyeing. If you have a better grip, you will be bullseyeing better. So that is lockedingrip.com. Well, thank you again to Reverend Kenn Blanchard. Hold up his book one more time, babe. And thank you to all of our amazing listeners all across the nation. Wherever there is internet service, we have people who are hungry for this information and these subject matter experts. And when you spend your most finite resource with us, it's everything. We appreciate that so much. So thank you. If you want to rewatch this video or share it with a friend, you can get it at YouTube, Gunstreamer, Spotify. When you go to those platforms, please click the notification and the subscription button, because that tells those platforms that this is valuable information to you, and it gives us a hedge against cancel culture, and also gets you the latest and greatest that we recorded in the fastest way possible. If you want to listen to the audio only version, go to our website, GunFreedomRadio.com, click the on demand tab, and
binge listen to your heart's content.
Darling.
Aw. You call me darling?
I did call you darling.
Oh, how sweet.
And if you want to see photos and bios and links to all of our guests, including Reverend Kenn Blanchard, I just gave you a promotion, Ken. Go to the guest tab, and there will be a link right there to go buy.
Got a great
this
picture
awesome
of him
book.
too.
Absolutely.
About Kenn Blanchard. It's a great picture.
Holding his guitar,
Yeah.
Learning the blues. So thank you so much, and I guess until next time, we better pray for our nation. You think?
Yeah.
Maybe who else are we going to pray for?
Our leaders.
Yes. What about the ones you don't like too much?
Oh, I love them all.
Do you?
Except a couple.
We're going to pray especially for them, right? All right. Until next time, be good to each other. Have a great week. Shalom, right? God
Bye-bye.
bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye.